Oh, okay. Well, oh, sorry.
Hello, hello. Can everybody hear us okay?
Okay.
All righty, there we are. Welcome to everyone. This is our second unit. For those of y'all who are following along, it's the Beauty and Self-Care Summit. On your menu, you will see a link for unit. Click on that link and you'll see all the units. And we're in our second unit. It's called Clutter Free with Kathi Lipp. And in that section, in that unit, you'll have lots of relevant information, things for you to look at. I don't remember if we didn't do a survey or anything on this one, but I'm also going to post in there at the end a post for you to put your feedback, basically your takeaways, and tell Kathi what you loved about the session, what you loved, what you're taking away, and also be sure to click share and then start watch party so that we can support these ladies, we can support Kathi and help bring some sunshine to your friends all around the world. Okay, so right quick, let me tell you a little bit about Kathi. She is the author of 20 books. Actually, I think it's a little bit more now, including Clutter Free, the Christmas Project Planner, the Get Yourself Organized Project, the Husband Project, and Overwhelmed, along with many others. She is the host of Clutter Free Academy, the podcast with Kathi Lipp, and she speaks at conferences all over the country, and also in her spare time runs a Facebook group called Clutter Free Academy. And so without further ado, welcome, Kathi.
Oh, Cindy, thank you so much for having me on here. I feel a little out of place with the whole clutter-free thing with all the beauty stuff. But oh
Oh,
my goodness, look at all this great content you have. Just
thank you.
amazing. Yeah. And so I'm so thrilled to be here because I do believe that so much of what we are doing here is so much of what we do when it comes to beauty, whether it's in our homes and how we dress, whatever we do, is taking away the excess and really stripping down to who we are and essentially what we need. And especially during this time of crisis that we're all going through together, we value our space so much more than our stuff. So it's a great time to be together and do all of this. So I'm so thrilled for everybody who's joining us, and I'm excited to get started.
Well,
So,
I'm more than thrilled to have you here. My house, if you had ever walked in my house, it is clutter everywhere. It's everywhere. We have 4 dogs, 2 cats, a
oh,
husband, myself. It's a pretty large house. We're on 7 acres of land. It's on the waterfront, so it's an old, kind of like an old beach house style.
right?
And so you get a lot of dust and dirt, and it's just, but clutter is everywhere. I cleaned up my office area so that
It looks
I wouldn't embarrassed.
beautiful. It looks absolutely beautiful. It doesn't look like anybody works there. That's the amazing part.
Well, you should see the rest of the room. It's pretty cluttered. So my whole house is like that, and my family, even emotionally, and just with all that activity, you just sometimes just feel
Yeah,
So
it's so
I'm
funny.
excited.
Whenever I do a presentation, people come up to me, it's like a confessional. They'll be like, they'll come up and they'll say, "Oh, I'm pretty clutter free, but I have a deal with my best friend that if I get into a car accident, she's to go to my house and light my closet on fire because I don't want anybody to know how I live." And I was like, so nobody, first of all, what everybody should know, and Cindy, you should know, so you feel, 100% more comfortable, is that my dad was a hoarder. So I have been through this. I have lived through this. I am not the person who grew up color coordinating their crayons and making sure that the books were, yellow to green. I am the person who couldn't find her car keys 2 days in a row. So that's how I was. Yeah. And so it was really in my 30s when I started to figure out my clutter's keeping me from living my life. And I don't want to do that anymore. So that's when I got really serious about clutter. and yeah, since then we've been talking to other people, not as the clutter-free person who's talking to cluttery people, but the person who's found her way to clutter-free and can help, because I understand the cluttery person. I get that person. They're the most generous people. They are
Oh, I
so,
like that.
yes, they're so much fun at parties. Like I can already tell Cindy, you're a ton of fun at parties. But also, we forget to bring the appetizer we promised to the party. And we're a little bit late because we can't find our car keys. And so I get that. We are the best intentioned, but we get in our own way. And so that's really what I want to talk to people about today.
Well, I'm excited. Do you want me to ask you a few questions? Do you want to just jump in?
No,
How
go
are we
ahead.
going
I
to do
would love
this?
for you to ask me a few questions if you have some off the top of your head.
Well, let me see. I have a few notes. Actually, you know what? Why don't, first off, can you take questions from the audience? Are you okay with that?
Absolutely.
Okay, so audience, attendees, if you're here live, please feel free to send us your questions through our Facebook group, preferably through the Facebook group, the live video down in the comments. That's the best way to send us your questions. If you're on some of the other pages that are sharing this, we may not see them. Okay. So I think my first question for you, Kathi, is you've already kind of touched on this. But what made you passionate about sharing these tips and hacks and skill sets with the world?
Yeah. So, my dad was a wonderful human being, but couldn't control his stuff. And I know it is for so many of our parents and our grandparents that they lived through very hard times. And I think we're starting to see a little of that resurface right now with people feeling panicked about the times we live in and wanting to hold on to all the things. But here's the other issue with that: we're now indoors all the time. And so, having all this stuff around us, UCLA did a study about 10 years ago about the effects of clutter on families. And they realized it didn't really affect men and kids. But what it did is it changed the cortisone levels in women so dramatically that they suffered depression because of their clutter. And so, yeah,
Really?
right. So
That is me. I will just break down in tears when I'm in the middle. Well, I've kind of grown past that, but
yeah.
boy, there was a time when I was just angry with everybody because that clutter was just haunting me.
Well, and you know why? I can tell you 100%. Clutter to me represents two things. It represents overwhelm and indecision. Like I can't make a decision about it, so I'm going to put this right here for now.
Yeah.
And so that's an unresolved issue that's just laying right there. And so as you look around your room and there's an excess of clutter, what it's doing, it's saying, I'm an issue, I'm an issue, I'm an issue. And it brings that all up for us. And it gives you a little bit, in a little bit of a way, a sense of panic. That, okay, I've got all these unmade decisions. It's like, having 1,000 little kids saying, mommy, 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 and you're trying to pay attention to all of them. And you mentally and physically cannot do that.
I need
And
my husband to listen to you.
yeah, well, here's the thing. If he wants a happier wife, putting things away will make her happier. Like,
I can hear all the women out there. Hit that like button, ladies.
yes, exactly, right? Because it is what it does, and let's be honest, my clutter is my clutter, but my husband's clutter is my clutter.
Yeah.
And that's how it is in most of our relationships. And so, and it's not that my husband's a bad person,
Right.
but he's not bothered by it in the same way I am.
Exactly.
And so
Cortisol, or
what?
the cortisol is not responding the same, right?
It's not a big deal for him. And so here's the thing: my husband just needs it decluttered enough to function, but I need it decluttered enough to be at peace.
Yeah.
And those are two totally different levels. Now, let me be very clear. If you looked around this room right now, I am not living in Martha Stewart land. Like the bed is kind of made, but not really, because we had an early morning, and we're living at my mom's house right now
Mhm.
because we're here trying to make sure that she's taken care of. And so we not only have a bedroom, we have an office. This is our living room, our bathroom, our storage, everything. And so, but each night, I have trained myself to say, in order to be comfortable in this room, I need it to be decluttered so I can be at peace. And that helps me so much the next day, not feeling overwhelmed. And it's only about 10 minutes of picking things up, putting things away, shutting drawers, but it makes all the difference in the world.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, I have a question. Actually, I have two questions from Dorothy. It says, how do you know when it's too much, when we have to store a little more during this time pertaining to food and supplies?
Yeah.
Does that,
Okay.
you
It's a
get
great
that?
question. Yeah. So here's what I would say, Dorothy. What a great question, first off, is as long as you have a plan to use it, then and you are not overwhelmed by what you're storing, I think it's totally fine. So, Cindy, one thing you may not know is well, it was supposed to release June 2nd, and they pulled up the release of the book. I've got it right here. It's called Ready for Anything, Preparing Your Heart and Home for Crisis, Any Crisis, Big or Small. Like
Okay.
it's how to be prepared for a crisis. And so I look at it this way. Decluttering takes care of your past, organization takes care of your present, but being prepared takes care of your future. And so, what I would say is, Dorothy, if you're buying 10 years of baked beans, that's too much. I don't want that for you. But if you're saying, I'm going to buy the Costco size of baked beans, whereas normally I'd buy two at the grocery store, I think that's perfectly acceptable as long as baked beans is something that you enjoy and will eat. That's the key. I don't want you going and buying a bunch of prepping food, that you have to mix with hot water and you're going to gag down, because nobody needs that. But to say, you know what, I'm going to stock up without hoarding. So, what was beautiful about this, because I've decluttered, and here's one of the biggest benefits, Cindy, of decluttering is knowing what you actually have. That is a beautiful thing. So, knowing how much toilet paper you have, knowing how much toothpaste you have, knowing how many cans of black beans you have. So, when you go to the store, like when this crisis hit, my husband said, do we need toilet paper? Because he says, everybody's buying toilet paper. Do we need some? I'm like, baby, we've got enough toilet paper to last us 4 months. He goes, we don't need toilet paper. And here's the heart aspect of that. I could leave that toilet paper for somebody else. Who knew a month ago we would be talking about toilet paper in this way, or I guess 2 months ago? It's become a big part of our lives. But I want you to have enough for you to feel comfortable, but I want you to have a little extra. And here's why I want you to have a little extra. And this is why decluttering is such a beautiful thing, because you have space for this. Because not only do you have enough for you, but you have enough for your adult child. We have adult kids who are not, they are essential employees, and they are working harder than they've ever worked in their entire lives. We have neighbors who can't get to the store, and don't know how to work the internet to get groceries delivered to them. So we not only have what we need, but we have enough to take care of the people we love.
And that's the preparing part, right?
Yes. But the decluttering part is so important, because you can say, I know we have baked beans around here somewhere, but it doesn't count if you can't find them.
Exactly.
So, and I'm
Yeah.
sorry, my cat decided to join us in the midst of all of this.
That's okay. I think probably a large majority of us have our pets right handy too.
Yep.
Okay, Dorothy also asked, when does my collection of something turn into clutter?
Oh, Dorothy, such great questions. I love this. So, your collection turns into clutter when you cannot manage it. So, you told your boyfriend when you were dating you like ceramic frogs. How cute, right? And then every birthday, every anniversary, everything, instead of getting, the bracelet that you hinted about 700 times, you're getting another ceramic frog. So I would say this, when you stop enjoying it because it's so much to manage. So when it comes to collections and clutter, let me give you another C word: curate. Curation is a beautiful thing. And this can apply to your collections. This applies to your wardrobe. This applies to your books. So I want you to keep the best and get rid of the rest. So, I don't know, like I used to collect Noah's Ark stuff. And I still have a couple of those pieces that my kids gave me. They saved up their money and they went out and bought that. And it's so precious to me. But, I have friends that gave me Noah Ark stuff for my birthday, 25 years ago. I don't remember those people's names. Get rid of that. Keep the things that make you smile when you look at them, but also keep only what you can manage. And so I think about this. This is a great one. This is a beauty summit. Talk about makeup. Like makeup has an expiration, right? And some of you I know are collectors. And so what I would say is keep what you love. A couple of weeks ago at the beginning of this whole quarantine thing, I had a lipstick that I'd never worn out of the house. And so I tried it because I'm like, who's going to see me? Well, I tried it on and it was not good. It was not good. But I found out it was a lip stain. Okay, that's not good because that's not going anywhere for a few days. I found out later you could put coconut oil on it and it would help. But now is the time to try those things that you have kind of sitting around. Sniff it first. You want to make sure it's still good. And then try it. And it's like if you go to the mirror and it makes you happy, you get to keep it. But if it doesn't make you happy, it's time to get rid of it. And this is a great time. Like if you have nieces that love makeup, think about what an amazing aunt you would be if they received a box of your makeup that they're not using, that you're not using anymore, that they could play with. I think we all get to be, with mom's permission, of course, we all get to be a little extra generous in different ways. And we all have to learn how to use the postal system again to be able to love on our families.
I completely love that. I don't so I've been a makeup artist as well for 17 years now.
Wow.
And I don't know how many thousands of dollars worth of product because I would use it for one bride or one shoot or whatever. And it's a specific product.
Right.
But you've just given me a whole new idea. I do have nieces that I could go through that stuff. I could do the expiration test, toss what's expired. Excuse me, there's a hair there. And like you said, bless them with a box. So that's awesome. Thank you.
Cindy, I am mailing out so much stuff now. I am mailing out books. I am mailing out one of my friends left a pair of shoes at my house. I mailed those out and she was so grateful to get them. I'm like, are you kidding? I'm so grateful to be decluttering. And so to get this stuff out, because right now you can't take it to a donation center. They probably wouldn't accept makeup anyway. But think about those nieces or your friends' girls. How much would it mean to them to get to try something new during this time? What a gift it could be for them.
Well, and I did that with all my jewelry, all my costume jewelry.
Yes.
They love to play dress up. And I went through everything stuff. But I have to admit, that is not my norm. It has to be a special day for me to sit down and go through all any particular collection of something. I mean, I don't know. Where do you get the motivation for something like that?
Okay, so thinking about how that person is going to receive it. I think that's really thinking through, You know, how is this person going to feel receiving that box? And so, and to put a little note in there, I was just thinking about you. Remember when we were growing up, how much we enjoyed getting mail? I
Hmm.
mean, mail is the best thing in the world, right? It's just a surprise waiting to happen. So thinking about that, and you can do it with just a few things. Now, you can go onto USPS, which is the United States Postal Service website, and
Hmm.
you can order boxes that are the priority mail boxes. And those
Right.
boxes are absolutely free. You can get small and medium and large. And then you can print the postage at home. And here's the beautiful thing, you can schedule a pickup for tomorrow. So like uh, I've got some masks that need to be sent out to people. And so I'm going to be sending those out to people. You know, they're just going to come and pick it up off my porch. You don't have to touch anything. And you could be spreading so much love and decluttering at the same time.
I love it. I love it. Okay, I have a question here. It says, hold on, let me scroll it. And another one is on its way. I can see it coming. How can you manage your clutter? How can you manage clutter when your family isn't helping out with the clutter they're actually when your family isn't helping out with the clutter, they're actually hurting the situation?
Right. Oh, no, it's probably one of my number one things. And I mean, just during this time, of course, it's even worse. So here's what I say, control what you can control. Control your side of the bedroom, control your part of the bathroom, the kitchen, you know, the areas that you can declutter, that you have domain over.
Hmm.
And then, you know, then if everybody's living in your house, there needs to be family decluttering times. Now, this should not be for hours. This should be for minutes. So a couple, you know, like one time in the morning and one time in the evening, hey, for 15 minutes, we're all going to declutter, put things away. You don't want to, because the reason people hate doing this is because mom says, we're going to clean out the house on Saturday. Well, that's the most depressing sentence in the entire English language.
But
But
that's
if
how
you,
we grew up.
right, exactly. So what I would rather have you say is, for 15 minutes after dinner, we all do this together. Like somebody's doing dishes, somebody else is, you know, getting rid of magazines or whatever it is. Somebody else is putting things away. So it's not telling the kids, go do this, saying, we're all going to do this together. Set an alarm, put on some great music, and for 15 minutes, you're going to make, you know, you think about it, if you have 4 people in your family and you do this for 15 minutes, that's like an hour of cleaning and decluttering.
Right.
And
Right.
so to do that in the morning and the afternoon, just say, hey guys, we haven't done it like this before, but we've also never been in quarantine before. So the rules have to change. And for me to continue to like everybody in this house, and by the way, this lady I saw on the video said my cortisone level is crazy. So if I'm cranky, it's because of clutter. So we're all going to work on this together.
You know what? That's really, I mean, because you're not blaming it on them, but you're explaining this is a physiological thing that's happening in me. So let's fix it.
Let's all work on this together. And by the way, wouldn't you like a nicer mom?
Everybody would like a nicer mom.
I would like a
Oh,
nicer
you've been
mom.
saying that to them.
Yes.
To children. Gotcha. Gotcha. I'm like, um, that's a loaded question there because mom might be
Yes.
watching.
My mom is very nice, but she's nicer when things are picked up, and so am
Right.
I. Yep.
Right. Okay. I have two more questions from me, and then
Okay.
I have another one here. Let's see. How do you declutter your closet? I love my shoes like capital love. Oh, like
Okay.
capital love.
Yeah.
And how often should you declutter your closet?
Oh, what a great question. So I really think one thing is you should be decluttering your closet all the time. But I think it's really important when seasons change to get to, when you get to the end of a season and say, I didn't wear this once. Because we have a lot of shoulds in our closet. Like that shirt is beautiful and I should love it. But for some reason, you just don't feel right in it. And the main motivation I use when I declutter my closet is to realize that sometimes these items were not meant for me to keep. So, Cindy, I was a single mom and both of my kids were in junior high. And I'll never forget, I'd been unemployed for way too long. I wasn't getting any spousal support or anything, any child support, anything like that. And my kids were starting school and they desperately needed shoes. And so we ended up having to go to the Goodwill. You know, we'd gone to the Goodwill before to drop things off. We had never gone to the Goodwill to pick things up. And so we get there, and I said, my son was wearing a size 12 men's shoe at that point, which is basically the size of a, skateboard. And he goes and he looks in the size 12s and he goes, Mom, they're all so ugly. And I'm like, buddy, I know, the choices are so limited, but buddy, this is all I can afford right now. And he said, Mom, I want ones like that one. And he points to the 8.5 section. And there's this brand new pair of Nikes there. I'm like, buddy, I wish, but here's the thing, an 8.5, we would have to chop off the toes, or we'd have to chop off your toes. Like, it's not going to work. And so I picked them up to see how much does a brand new pair of Nikes cost at the Goodwill. And I look at the tag, and Cindy, it was a size 12.
Wow.
And
just in the wrong section.
Just in the wrong section. And I stopped and I thank God that day. I'll just be honest with you. I thank God there was a little hallelujah moment going on in the Goodwill. But then I remembered, you know what? It took that man, or more likely his wife or girlfriend or whomever it was, to say, you've never worn these. We should just get rid of them. And he had every reason to keep those. They were brand new, they cost money, you would feel guilty for giving them away. But he became like a living, breathing miracle to me and my junior high son that day. Aww. And so that's how I think about it. That red pair of shoes that pinches you just a little bit so you don't wear them, but you kind of holding on to them because maybe someday they won't pinch. They're always going to pinch. But you know what? They may not pinch the woman who's looking for a job and needs a new outfit. And so I think about it that way. Sometimes I buy something and it's a mistake. And sometimes I punish myself by holding on to it instead of taking it back to the store. But the way I can redeem that situation is to take it to a donation center, to the Goodwill, and just say, you know what, this was intended for somebody else. Because all it's doing in my closet, if I don't wear it, all it's doing is losing value. But I can reclaim that value by passing it on to somebody else.
Wow. Wow. That's powerful right there. We need to cut that little snippet and just do a little advertisement out of it. That's so nice. Okay. I want to go back. I have one question that I want to say for the very end.
Yeah.
This one, meal planning. I've seen you talk about meal planning before, and that was going to be one of my topics for the summit, or one of the topics I wanted to address as a separate unit. But you knock out both birds with one stone, the decluttering and the meal planning. Can you give us something on that?
Yeah. So I've got a couple of favorite things to say on that. One, learn how to use your kitchen tools. If you have an Instant Pot and you're scared of using it, because a lot of people are, go watch a YouTube video. I've never heard of a death by Instant Pot. I promise you guys. But so learn to use your tools, because your tools are there to save you time and energy. So go ahead and, learn how to use them. Now is the time. The other thing is, my favorite trick for meal planning is loop meals, LOOP, leftovers on purpose. And so what that is one of my favorite recipes, and I'll be happy to send you the link, Cindy, it's Instant Pot pulled pork. It's about the easiest recipe in the entire world. So I make a batch of this. There are 3 of us living here. There's me, my mom, and my husband, Roger. And so that one 3-pound pork will be enough for about 9 individual meals. So we'll eat it one night. for 3 people. So so it'll be 3 meals. It'll be 3 different meals for 3 different people. So
Wow.
9 altogether. So
Gotcha.
we'll eat it the night we make it. I like what I'll do is I'll either do like Hawaiian rolls or I'll make some rolls or something like that. And then we'll have it a couple of days later for lunch. And I'll toss it on top of a salad and it'll be delicious. But the third thing I do is I put it in a Ziploc bag and I stick it in the freezer. And so, like, I have a book launch coming out in a couple of weeks to launch the paperback of my Ready for Anything book. There's no cooking going on that week. Like, it is all defrost and reheat. So what I'm doing is I'm doing a stockpile of meals in there. So like right now we have the pulled pork, we have a vegetable soup, we have a casserole in there that will be really fun, on a night where we just want to starch out. So to think about it, I'm cooking once, but I'm having 3 different meals is
Mhm.
huge. The other thing I would say is if you haven't done it already, take an inventory of what you already have. So in your refrigerator, in your freezer, in your pantry, see what ingredients you already have because we're in a time where it's harder and harder to get to the store. At least
Mhm.
in my area, it's about an hour wait before going into a store. And so,
Wow.
what do you absolutely need? You may not need as much as you think. And by the way, let's be honest, some of these prices are higher. If you're using Instacart to get your groceries, they put a surcharge on there, which might be worth it unless you're buying nonsense. So no buying nonsense. You just figure out what you need. Take an inventory of your spices. And the most important thing is eat your fresh food first. So, eat those leftovers, eat that salad, those things that are not going to keep. And if you're not going to eat it, freeze it because we just don't know what the food chain is going to look like here in a couple of weeks. And so
Mhm.
I'm not trying to panic anybody, but these are great, great things to be able to do, even when you're not in the midst of a crisis. So
Mhm.
having these skills, these cooking skills. And so I just do, and I can give you the link for this as well. This is our meal planner. It's nothing special. You could do it on the back of an envelope. But when you spend 15 minutes planning out your weekly meals, I guarantee you're saving an hour at least at night. Because when you're trying to come up with things in the heat of the moment, one, you don't like any people in your house. Like the longer it takes you to come up with that meal idea, you're like, why isn't anybody else helping? Why do I have to cook for all these people? And they're not even going to like it. Those kind of thoughts start running through your head. So and here's the other thing, you can post this on your fridge. So when people are like, when's dinner? What's for dinner? What's going, they can look at that. The other thing this does is the more prepared you are, the more you're enabling people to help you. If you have kids over the age of 10 or 12, you should not be cooking alone. They should be taking 1 meal a week or helping you. This is a great time to help our kids learn these skills. Because I'll tell you, my daughter went off to college, and the first day she called me, she goes, Mom, nobody here knows how to do laundry. I'm like, what? She goes, they don't know how to do laundry. I'm teaching people. So enable your kids to be able to be powerful. Give them some control in what feels like an out of control situation.
Love it. Love it. So you mentioned that planner, and then you mentioned another link. Now, can I share those in the
Yeah,
group? Is that
I'll
what
send
you're
it to you
saying?
when we're done here. And please,
Okay.
please, please.
Yeah. Okay. And then, so my other question, first
Yep.
off, are there any more questions coming in? Nope, I don't see any right now.
Okay.
My one question was, do you, and this may be something that is a paid thing or not, I don't know, but do you have like a resource list of all the different things that you do with your excess? So like Goodwill, or if I have but like half price books, or this place or that place, what to do as we're decluttering,
Yeah.
what to do with
So,
those things.
I am a big believer in the path of least resistance. So a lot
Okay.
of people want to donate perfectly. So they want to find the perfect place to donate their books or the perfect place to go to Goodwill. And then what ends up happening is they drive around it with their car for 6 months. And
Yep.
so my philosophy, my belief is find something on the way to every single week. So for me, I have a meeting at my church every single Tuesday, and there happens to be a Goodwill on the way. So that's where I donate everything. Because here's the thing, when you want to control the donation, it's going to be harder to donate. But really, what you want is it out of your hands and into the hands of somebody else who can use it. Now, there are some people who are so good at reselling. If you're one of those people, God bless you. I do not possess such wizardry. I just don't. Like, I try to sell something and it stays up there for that's not my gift. But for some people, it really is their gift. And they should 100% be doing that if it helps their family coffers. So give it a try. That's not my thing. My thing is to get rid of everything I can in the easiest way possible, and then know I need less than I actually think I do. So to not bring new things into my house, and to really to shop my own closet, I think is really important.
I've heard that term before. What does that mean?
So instead of because it's so easy to shop online right now, and they're giving away pants for practically free because nobody's wearing pants that anybody are seeing. So to before I go online though, I'm going to go into my closet and say, what do I already have, and what outfits can I put together from what I have? And so one of the things I love to do is, because I'm plus size, so I'll go on to Pinterest and I'll say plus size spring 2020. And I'll look at how they put together different outfits. And I'll say, you know what? I don't have that jacket, but I have a white denim jacket. And I don't have those earrings, but I've got some raffia earrings that would look cute with that. And to try to say, okay, I'm a creative human being. How can I put these in together in a way without spending any money? That's the challenge. How can I create outfits without spending any money?
Okay. You said some. Oh, I have a gal that I don't have the schedule right here in front of me, but that is going to be speaking on going through your closet and putting together new outfits. So that's perfect. I can really ask a bunch of questions from her about that. I just got another question. It's from Bobby. She says, what's the best way to resist going overboard at yard sales and thrift shops, which ultimately causes more clutter?
Oh, it's so true, Bobby, and it's such a great question. So first of all, if you're one of those people who can find a bargain anywhere, it's a blessing and a curse. I have just learned that is not my gifting. It just isn't. But here's what I would say is, can you go in with a list? Like, if you're saying, I'm looking for a new pair of shoes for spring, put it on the list. I need a new crock pot, put it on the list. But I'm not going to buy a bunch of nonsense I don't need. Or, you can be if you're not too cluttery, you can say, I'm looking for a something turquoise to put in my office that's going to be an anchor piece for decorating. That's great. You can leave it kind of loose, but don't just go and wander. That's the problem. Yeah, I know it's so hard because, these creative people, like I said, cluttery people are the most creative people. But if you get it home and it has no home to be in, then it wasn't a bargain.
Yeah.
And so if you don't know when you're going to wear it or where you're going to put it, it's time to go.
Great answer. Great answer. Okay. You didn't even, it's so funny because we didn't even really get in. I mean, we got into a lot of tips and tricks and things, but there was it was just free flowing.
You know what? But you ask great questions.
Strategy.
So if you ask great questions, we get to the meat of it anyway in a much more interesting way. You did a great job.
Yeah, I agree. It's 3:15. I'm going to remind everybody, please come on to back into the group and give Kathi some feedback on what your best takeaways are. Plus, that also, the people who are watching the replay, maybe they'll see a little teaser and say, oh, hey, let me go watch this one. I want to hear more about that, you know, or whatever. So yeah, it's always good to engage. And thank you, Kathi. Your schedule has been so hectic, and I know you had to carve this time out for us, and I really appreciate it.
It was so my pleasure. And you know what? If people would like my cat has decided that she needs to be in all this, but if you need a place to deal with your clutter, I would really encourage you to come over to our Facebook group. If you just search for Clutter Free Academy, we've got about 10,000 women and a few brave men all dealing with their clutter, and their lives are changing, and we would love to have you guys over there. It's the kindest corner of the internet. Everybody gets you.
Nice. Well, I'll put that link when I put the other ones in the group. I'll make a separate post with just some links that you have, and I'll put that link in there.
Perfect. I would love it.
So, well, thank you again, and you have a great afternoon. Enjoy. I see that sunshine. Enjoy it.
Yeah, we're very fortunate here in Northern California.
It looks really nice. All right. Well, we will talk to you on the interwebs. Thank you. Bye, guys. Are you still there?
I am.
I think. Oh, there you are.
Sorry, I was frozen and it stopped. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry. I probably was not listening to directions well when you wanted me to come on the video, so I hope I didn't mess you up.
No, well, I don't think so. If it did, I didn't notice it.
Okay, good. Thanks so much. And I will send you those links just as soon as I have 1 minute, which will be just a couple of minutes.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.